Hello. Long time no see. Long time no talk.
Happy Mother New Year.
Hmm.
Answers by guess. What up there, guess?
Hmm. I had some sad piano music queued up. I was gonna bite off of Jimmy Fallon a little. I was gonna do the sad love letter, dear ABG family. Sorry for letting you down last week, not being available for much of anything. I mean, geez, I feel like it's been 2 weeks since we've done a show. We did it early. I mean, it's just been nonstop. Christmas Eve, travel, and family stuff. Christmas Day, family stuff. Travel the next day, family stuff. Travel the next day. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. My son's turning 4 tomorrow, so we got that going on. We had the family party today. My wife is turning 21 on Tuesday, so
Smart man.
I got that going on. So it's just nonstop, nothing. And I even mentioned it to a couple people and to you, like I watched 0.0 seconds of football last Sunday. None. I was traveling, 3 hour drive, hungover from Christmas. Got to my family's house and it was Christmas stuff and visit with the family, and there was just no football at all. I did catch a little bit of the night game, but it is what it is. And in the midst of it all, I lost two semifinal matchups. One, I think it was by 1.8. I almost got the comeback with Waddle.
Yeah, you were close, man.
And another one I lost by 2.2. Both teams had James Robinson, who got hurt on the first play or the first drive, and had 1 point total. So it's fair to say that that's fantasy, and that's how it goes. But I can be pissed off, but I can hang my head up high knowing that I would have won those games if he didn't get hurt, because there's almost a guarantee he would have got at least 4 points. That's all I needed. But it is what it is.
Yeah, agreed, man. Didn't same thing here. Lost a couple ones to not get to the championship and back-to-back in our most important league. But I did make one championship. I made one championship out of 5 leagues. So not too bad. Going for the gold. Exciting. This is my high QB scoring league. I have one of the most solid teams. I'm putting up like 250 to 300 points a week. And usually the average is about 200, it seems like, for other teams and stuff like that. Just hoping I don't lay an egg this week. I've been on a roll and a half, so.
Yeah. Well, you have family over right now. You're celebrating moving into a new home, so congratulations there. And in case anybody didn't notice, yes, the room looks exactly the same that he's in, but he is in a different house. I mentioned that as soon as I saw him, like, I thought you moved. It just seems like your walls got closer in.
It's just not the TV on this side.
and I've got to get upstairs and help my wife finish getting our son's birthday gifts together. We're just going to do questions. Questions. It's all about you. There should be no surprises. We figure we can omit going through the games and just take care of you guys, because you guys are in more championships than us.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll take your questions and we'll go from there.
All right, I'm just posting some here, but I'll let you go through the first question here because it's a good one.
A doozy.
A doozy and a half. We got some pretty long ones that kind of get a little detailed here, so we may not be able to see your face. We'll start with Chad. What's up, bud? Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year.
All right. Actually, the first one's not that long. All right. Jason D with Aaron Jones, Sony Michel, or Mixon. Pick 2 only. Championship game.
I like Sony Michel and what he's been doing, but they are going against the Ravens, and they do have the number 1 statistically rush defense. And Cam Akers is going to play this week, and Jake Funk came back last week. I know there's no Henderson. But I'm going to go with Aaron Jones against Minnesota. You can run on him. And I'm going to go with Mixon against the Chiefs. They're going to need to rely on him to some degree. So I'm going to go with Aaron Jones and Mixon.
Right. I'm going to agree with you, man, on that one, just because the Rams backfield is going to be a little bit of a cluster F. All right, Chad, pick 3 wide receivers: OBJ, BMW, Gallup, Myers, Gabe Davis, Tony Osborne, Deontay Harris, aka Hardy. Now, same league flex. Oh, sorry. Let's start with that, and then it goes into another question there.
I'm going to go. I want Gallup because I feel like that game's going to be a shootout, and he's been doing all right. I'm probably going to go with, I don't like it, but Odell, Mike
He's
Williams.
been hot, man.
Odell.
He's been getting touchdowns.
Yeah, Odell, Mike Williams, and Gallup. I'm just going to go with the first 3. I can't trust Tony at this point. I know Osborne is going against the Packers, but no Kirk Cousins. Not playing Deontay Harris. Myers is questionable. I don't even know if he's going to play. I mean, Gabe Davis versus the Falcons. I mean, they don't run the ball, but their defense at home should be able to do enough. I would think that they could run more often and not really need Gabe too much. So give me OBJ, BMW, and Gallup.
All right, same league flex play: Penny, Javonte Williams, Foreman, or any of the wide receivers left over from the other post or the other question above.
Penny's been doing it 2 out of the past 3 weeks, man, 135 plus yards in each week. I like Javonte, and even though Gordon's a little banged up, I think I'm just going to ride the high hand with Penny here, going against the Lions.
Matchup is the way to go, and Goff is still doubtful, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I agree that offense. There's going to be a lot of defense on the field. I can see Penny playing well as well. All right, Chad, different league. Pick 3 running backs: Mixon, Zeke, Javonte Williams. Those are currently starting for him. He also has Pollard, Anguable. I can't say that for some reason. Stevenson. There you go. Akers. I could play 2 in flex as well. So I can start up to 5 running backs. That's a pretty cool flex league, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm gonna keep mixing Zeke and Javonte. That's what you got going on. I don't know who your other flex options would be, but I mean, if you want to throw Pollard and Stevenson in there, I mean, those would be 2 decent flex plays. I'm not going to go crazy with Akers just yet. And Agumbawale, I mean, you saw he's nowhere close to what James Robinson is, and going against the Patriots, no, I don't think so. So keep your 3 starters, and if you don't have any better options, Pollard and Stevenson are okay as flex.
I agree. I like Pollard this week, man, for some reason. I've been thinking about Pollard a lot this week. He's one of the guys on my team that I've been questioning. He's obviously going against the Cardinals, which is a tough defense. I just feel like that game's going to be the ancillary guys. I know that kind of sounds weird, but I can see everybody else doing well besides the main names that you're going to be looking and going after. So
I kind of that game I feel like it's just going to be a shootout. I mean, Arizona needs it bad. Dallas at home is a whole nother beast. Dak has just been ridiculous at home. Kyler's going to have to run the ball. He's going to have to just stop being scared and just take off and get yards when he can with his legs. And Edmonds, I think, is going to be back to full strength here. That's going to help them. I think that game's going to be a shootout. So, yeah, Pollard, because you're already using Zeke, you might as well put both in. Then you don't get screwed on a vulture.
Yeah, exactly. Get the points where you can, man. I mean, that's good to have there. All right. Chad with another one here. Now on to tight ends. Pick 1: Hunter Henry, Conklin, Komet, and DeGuara. Thanks again, you guys. Hoping to get these 2 wins and make the wide receiver 1 back-to-back and the running back tight end 1 2 times in 3 years. Nice job.
Nice.
Fingers crossed for you, man.
I love DeGuara, but with the other options, he's just not enough. Rob's more of a Conklin guy than me.
Damn.
Komet versus Yeah, Komet with the Giants. With Cousins being out, I mean, that could make Conklin actually be a little bit better because Conklin was the backup tight end, so he was practicing with the backup quarterback to begin the year, and usually a tight end is a backup QB's best friend along with the running back. So I actually give him a boost more this week, but when it's Komet and Henry in there as well, I kind of like Komet versus the Giants. Henry should be able to eat up well against the Jags. So although I do sort of see New England being able to just run all over Jacksonville, I think I'm going to play Hunter Henry because their wide receivers are really banged up in New England. I think Aguilar's already called out. I know that Myers is banged up, super questionable. So I think I'm going to go with Henry here. You got the biggest upside for a touchdown because that's pretty much what he does. So it's Henry, Komet, and then Conklin third for me.
All right. On to the next one here. Antonio with a question. I'm in 2 finals of my 3 leagues. Congrats, man. Waddle brought me back from 21 down. I thank you for your help during the season. You're quite welcome, my friend. Should I play Dallas versus Arizona this week?
I mean, they're hard to say no to, aren't they? They've been ridiculous 2 out of the last 3 weeks. And pretty much, they were a sleeper of mine way back early in the season. I said, I feel like this Dallas defense is going to be pretty good. Felt the same about Arizona. Dallas came true. We just saw it with Diggs and with Parsons and getting everybody else back. I just felt like Dallas, and like that's been Dallas's biggest hiccup over the past recent history is their defense was terrible. They fixed that, and they're opportunistic. They get touchdowns like crazy and force turnovers. But I do think this game's going to be a shootout. If you don't get hurt too much by points scored, and you get 4th down stops, you get good points for fumbles, interceptions, sacks, things like that. Yeah. But I do feel like Arizona is going to be able to put up points. I feel like their backs are a little bit against the wall now. I think they're sitting in the 5 seed. They were the 1 seed 2 weeks ago. So I feel like they're going to let their offense loose a little bit, but their offense struggles without D-Hop, and that's just a fact. And we pointed that out long ago. That Packer game was probably the first time that we really saw how bad they are without D-Hop, and it's been that way. The Detroit game was just they went in the game thinking they'd be able to win, and they just got punched in the nose. I mean, Dallas is a fine play if you don't have better options, but I do feel like they're going to get scored on a little bit.
All right. Antonio with another one here. Which QB, Tua, Mac Jones, Fields, Baker, Goff, or Tannehill?
I like Mac in this one after a kind of subpar outing, but Bill Belichick doesn't care about stuff like that. So he's going to go into this game saying, we can run the ball, we can control this game. And Fields, I'm not sure if we could trust him against the Giants. Sure. I mean, he's kind of questionable anyways. Baker, who knows what's going on with him. Goff, Tannehill. I mean, I feel like you have to just go with the hot hand and go with Tua. I think Tua's – you can throw on the Titans, and it's tough to run on them. They've got weapons galore, and they're hot. He's been playing well. He's getting a couple touchdowns a game. I think you go with the hot hand, you go with Tua.
All right. On to the next one here. Antonio, I'm thinking Brady over Mahomes. What do you think? Brady's playing the Jets, and Mahomes is playing the Bengals. I think both are away.
Yeah, I would go Brady. I mean, he's down weapons, but Evans is coming back. We don't know if Brown's going to play. Probably might not. But they got extra weapons. I mean, you know what's going to happen in this one. And I didn't really like him going into last week. And I wish, Rob, you would have told me that you were using him when things weren't so hectic. You know, the Tyler Johnson thing. I feel like a lot of people played Tyler Johnson last week. And he's probably going to step up this week against the Jets. Would not be surprised if this is a Tyler Johnson game. I mean, he's not going to go bonkers, but he's going to do way better, which is impossible to do worse. than you did last week. But I do think he's going to get used, and I would go Brady over Mahomes. I know Mahomes getting Hill back, and Hill was there, but he's been
He
feeling
only played the first 10 minutes of the game. They didn't need to use him anymore.
Right, and you say he's been fatigued, so I don't even know if that game was close. How much they would have really used him. And Kelsey coming back, we'll see if he feels the same sort of fatigue. I'm using Kelsey in the third place game just because, as of now, I might as well, whatever. But I think I would go with Brady. I think it's okay. If your gut's saying that, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, Brady's had a couple down weeks. He's going to prove that, this is playoff time. I got to step up. It's against the Jets. He's always torched the Jets. So, all right, Antonio with another one here. Patterson, Jacobs, Carter, Penny, Pittman. Need 3 or 2 if Cooks plays.
See, I always get nervous with this, Antonio. And I don't know if you're watching or not. And if you are, comment below and we'll get to it. But sometimes when people are talking about Dalvin Cook, they write Cooks. So I don't know if you're talking about Dalvin Cook or if you're talking about Brandon Cooks.
I think it's Brandon Cooks because he mentions him in another question later on.
All right. Well, if you're talking about Brandon Cooks, I don't even want to use him anyways. So I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you Jarrett Patterson because Gibson's not going to play. And I like Jacobs this week. And while I do like Pittman, I think I'm going to still go with Penny. I'm going to use 3 running backs. And if you don't like the Patterson play for whatever reason, then I go Penny, Jacobs, Pittman against the Raiders.
And what happens if it's Cordero Patterson?
Cordero's been on that downslide that we were waiting on like week 4.
Yeah.
Week 4, we're like, sooner or later, he's going to stop. It was Cordero Patterson, Jacobs, Penny, Pittman. I feel like Jacobs, Penny, Pittman is going to be good. I feel like they're going to use Jacobs, who's been catching a ton of passes. I'm riding the hot hand with Penny until the wheels fall off. And Pittman, I think, is due for a good week.
And Wentz should be playing. It looks like Wentz should be back, so that should help Pittman a little bit there too. All right, Chris with the question. What's up, man? Rojo or Renfro in the flex?
I mean, Pittman had a good week last week, but I think he's going to score touchdowns, what I meant this week. Rojo or Renfro? How do you go away from Renfro? I mean, I like Rojo. I like Rojo a lot.
Playing against the Jets. Jets defense, their run defense is definitely better than their secondary, but how do you bench Renfro, man? He's just, what is it? Wish, Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, he's Cooper Kupp on Wish. But Renfro didn't have a good week last week, did he?
Let's take a look.
Or was that 2 weeks ago? I feel like last week he was, right?
I think that sounds like last week was. No, last week he did have the touchdown. It was the week before that he didn't have a good game.
But even so, in both, he only had a couple catches.
Yeah, 3 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown.
I'm going to go with Rojo. I'm going with Rojo against the Jets.
All right. Ben with a question here. Bench Justin Jefferson in favor of Scott or Scary Terry, worried about backup QB and cold weather in Lambeau.
I know. I think I'm still going to play Justin Jefferson. He's just so good that the quarterback's really just got to throw it up. I know cold weather, Lambeau, but Green Bay's going to score points. And they're going to be playing from behind. The Washington-Philly game could be real tight. I mean, who knows what's going on with their quarterbacks? I was reading something there. Somebody was saying something about cycling through the quarterbacks during the game, and then they're saying, no, we're not going to do that. McLaurin, I love him as well, and I know the Scott situation with no Sanders, but there is Howard. They still got this year's version of Wendell Smallwood, Kenneth Gainwell hanging around. I'm going to go with Jefferson, Ben. I'm not going to bench him. He's a stud. He got you here for the most part. He's in a game where they're going to be playing from behind. Backup quarterback, I believe it should be Kellen Mond. Is it Mond who's going to start?
Let me take a look.
Because if it's Mond, I mean, you go back to the beginning of the season, a lot of people are clamoring for the rookie to be a starter over Cousins. I know Cousins had a good year.
No,
Um,
it's Sean Mannion.
Sean Mannion. Okay, well, he's done all right in backup duties before.
Yeah.
He's on the Rams for a while. Yeah, he's a vet. He's been around. I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson, man. He's the best player on the team. They're going to need him. He can beat the Packers. He's done it before. He's Randy Moss, who owned the Packers with worse quarterbacks. Christian Ponder and people like that. Like, yeah,
Christian Ponder.
Yeah. I'm not benching Justin Jefferson. He's too important to the team. They'll look for him. They'll need him. I'm gonna go with him. Eagles or Redskins football team have too many other weapons, and they've been using all the other weapons. They haven't been using McLaurin as a wide receiver one in the team. They've been spreading it all around. This Sims, that Sims, this Brown. The other guy that came out, Carter, the tight ends, there's Bates, there's Ricky Seals-Jones, there's just the running backs. I know that they're down to really just a couple now without Gibson, but come on. I'm going to go with Jefferson. Don't overthink it.
All right, Michael C. with a question here. Made it to the Super Bowl again in the same league that I won last year, but lost Miles Sanders. Who is the Philly back to own, Jordan Howard or Boston Scott? Congrats on making it to the Super Bowl again there, buddy.
Yeah, well, Howard's banged up. But if he's good to go, I mean, we saw before without Sanders. I know Scott had his run. That was before they got Jordan Howard. And then Jordan Howard gets signed, and I called it. I was like, wow, Jordan Howard's just going to have a monster game. He did. I feel like I would rather have Jordan Howard. I know that Hurts steals the touchdowns when they get close. But if it's not Hurts, it's going to be Howard. So I'm going to go with him. He's been getting tough yards. Scott is good for the catches. He's been having games still. But I think I'll give a slight edge to Jordan Howard with the goal line upside. Slight tick. But.
It's always a big but.
This is important to point out. As I said, tomorrow's my son's 4th birthday. In the morning, we got Taekwondo. And then I think we're going to go bowling. And then it's birthday party, family, fun time. So I don't know how available I'm going to be looking at my phone and answering stuff. Do yourself a favor, Michael. Make sure that Howard's playing. Because if you got both, or if you got to pick up one, it might even be too late for that. But if you got both, you're smart enough to know. If Howard's not playing, or if there's any question about his ability to play a full share of snaps, then you got to go with Scott.
I agree. I'll try to chip in as much as possible. Like you said, I just moved to the new house, so it is this week literally going to be craziness as far as doing stuff. But my goal will be to at least answer and fill in some questions to be able to try to help out here. All right, Leon with the question, Murray or Stafford? Normally I always go Murray because of his legs, but he's been bad of late, and Dallas D is teeting up on people. Stafford was horrible last week, but I love his matchup.
I think I'm going to go Murray. I feel like Stafford is, based on recency bias and what we've seen, certainly safer. I mean, he's got the better weapons. I just feel like he's going to be playing in a game on the road where their defense might be able to limit the Rams or the Ravens scoring. And I don't think that the Cardinals are going to be able to limit the Cowboys scoring. So it's purely a volume. And I feel like the Cardinals realize we have to let Kyler use his legs. We have to, I would imagine they're saying, listen, we were winning when you were running. You've got to use that. You've got to chalk it up, soak it up, suck it up. You got to use the legs. This is how we're going to beat this Dallas team. And I feel like his legs are going to be used in this one. They have to be. Their backs are against the wall. So I'm going to go with Murray. And it's mostly a volume thing and the feeling that we're going to see him running like we haven't seen in quite some time.
I agree with you, man. I'm hesitant to not start Murray in anywhere. Again, the rushing yards alone is what got you your points that you needed last week to help you get to the championship, you know? All right, Leon, with another one here. If they play, I need one. Mitchell, Eckler, or Swift. Seems like all three are actually playing. I like Mitchell's matchup the most, but workload upon return and re-injury risk worries me with all three.
Yeah, Mitchell's got the best matchup. Eckler, Rob, you mentioned it. We've sort of talked about it back and forth. Running backs, especially coming off the COVID list, a little sluggish usually in their return. Got to think Mitchell's itching to get out there. They don't know the quarterback situation. More than likely going to be Lance. They're probably going to
for him for Garoppolo.
They're probably going to rely on the run. They're going against Houston. It'll be best team in the league to do that against. Do like Swift to a degree, but they have 18 other running backs. And, which is funny to say because so do the Niners. But the Lions have 18 serviceable, fantasy good running backs. I mean, Craig Reynolds is still doing his thing, even with Jamal Williams there. There's Swift. There's like three other guys. I'm going to go with Mitchell, I think. If Mitchell plays, I'm going with him. He's the best, and Shanahan likes him and wants him to be the guy since week one. So I'm going to go with Mitchell. Best matchup.
I would agree with that. Eckler makes me worried, especially like you said, coming off the COVID list. That's big. Robbie S. with the question here. Holy shit, I need a blessing at QB off the waiver this week. Who would you go with? Lance, Fields, Wentz, Tua, Tannehill?
Tua. Want to ride the hot hand with Tua.
All right. Robbie with another question here. Last post, I promise. I got so many. I post as many as you want, man. I got so many options this week. It might be a death for me. Really want to start Ronald Jones and really want to start T. Higgins. Was thinking about taking Deontay out of his lineup, sliding T up to his spot, and then flexing Rojo. I might end up not being able to play DeAndre Swift. Opinions? Who would you play?
I am definitely playing Deontay on Monday night. This could be, I don't know, let me just double check before I even say this. Where are they?
Big Ben's at home.
Yeah, last game at home because he's going to retire. Big Ben's last game at home, Monday night. You're playing Deontay Johnson. I'm almost positive his last week wasn't that great. And people were probably disappointed. It's Monday night. It's the last game for Big Ben at home. You're playing Deontay Johnson. I don't care. You have to do it. And I like Ronald Jones and the T. Higgins going against the Chiefs.
He had such an explosive game last week, man. But,
I
mean, Burrow was on a totally different level, though.
I know, but that's the ebbs and flows.
Oh, yeah.
And the Chiefs' defense, their secondary especially, has been ridiculous. It's a toss-up, but you got to play Deontay. I'm such a Rojo lover.
Enthusiast.
Yeah. I want you to play Rojo, but I feel like if you play T. Higgins, it's okay as well. But I kind of feel like Rojo and Deontay is the right call.
All right. I'm kind of agreeing just based on the ebbs and flows. I don't think Burrow is going to be doing anything close to what he did last week. He could have a good game, don't get me wrong, but Rojo's going to be running, I think, all over the Jets, man. The Jets don't have that type of pop. I would take the matchup. All right, Antonio with a question here. Patterson, Penny, Jacobs, Carter, need 2, PPR. I think we went through this one already.
Yeah, I like Penny and Jacobs.
All right. Next one here. Lamar and Cousins out. Lance, Hill, Huntley, Tua.
Just do it. Just do it. I mean, the Hill against Carolina at home, that could be slightly better than Tua for me. But I think I would still just go Tua. I just feel like the Dolphins, they need this game. It's winnable against Tennessee on the road. He's got a ton of weapons. Hill, all you're getting out of Hill really is the runs. And they didn't even really get a chance to use Kamara last week. I mean, they did, but they got shut down. Been against a tough defense. I think I'm going to go Tua. I'm putting all my eggs into his basket this week. That's it. I'm doing it. He's just been playing too well. I mean, his fantasy points haven't been ridiculous off the charts. He's just playing good football. He's making the right throws. He's making good throws. He's got tons of weapons. Parker didn't even get involved last week. And Gesicki didn't really have a good game.
Not very good.
And I feel like against the Titans, you could throw the ball. And I think that's what they're going to need to do, and they will. And Tua can run it in if they get close.
All right. Jason D with a question here. Knox or Everett, PPR?
Geez, Everett's doing finally what I thought he would do, what we
All
thought
year
he would
long,
do
man.
at the beginning of the season. That's good to see. I mean, that basically now that becomes a win for us. And with the Detroit situation, who will put up more points, Detroit or Atlanta? I think I'm going to go Knox. I'm going to
agree with you. Is Beasley still out?
Probably yes, because he's unvaccinated. So that 10-day rule or whatever it was, 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever it was. So yeah, I don't think he can play.
No, he is actually activated. It says off
He
the list
is?
here. Yeah, he is activated.
Well, that's excellent. He
So,
must not have been symptomatic.
That makes me a little nervous, to be honest, just because Knox kind of got those extra targets last week because Beasley was out. I mean, don't get me wrong; they both have really good matchups, but I'm kind of leaning Everett on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Everett's fine because I just know his full point PPR. He should catch more passes than Knox. I just feel like Atlanta will be able to score more points than Detroit, but maybe not because Seattle's defense is a little soft. So yeah, go with Everett. I'm fine with that. Go with Everett.
All right, Kaylin with the question here. Ayuk, since Hollywood Brown is ill, sleeper waiver pick. It was kind of a couple of different messages altogether, so I kind of clumped it. I put MVS in as he has Rodgers over Ayuk and Brown. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, thoughts on that, Kalen, is they're also getting Cobb back. So that just muddies the waters a little bit more. I think that, if anybody can do it, Rodgers can use everyone. But coming back off a COVID list for MVS, we'll see. Ayuk, backup quarterback, Trey Lance, I feel like they'll be able to run the ball as much as possible. Going against the Texans, might not need to throw, but they'll throw enough. Or will they just use Debo? Hollywood, going against the Rams, tough. You don't even know who the quarterback's going to be at this point. I think I would go Ayuk. Just because there's so many weapons and Rodgers is using all of them in Green Bay, including the two running backs and DeGuara, and Amari Rodgers, and Equanimeous St. Brown, and the two other tight ends, Mercedes
Lewis has been getting a bunch of targets lately, man.
Yeah, and MVS could catch his one big one, but they just have a ton of weapons, and he's coming back after having COVID. So I think I'll go Ayuk and just hope that because all he needs to do is catch one, and he could break it loose against this Houston defense. And I feel like that'll be easier for him to do than MBS to do against the Vikings. So I'm going to go with Ayuk in that regard. So yeah, and the sleeper pick. Here's your sleeper pick. He scored a touchdown last week. Last week's guesstimator came through. We're killing it with the guesstimators.
Sorry I wasn't able to do a video this week, guys, but guesstimators you've been on the money with, bro.
Antoine Wesley, right, for the Cardinals. I mean, he's a sleeper waiver pick. He's still out there. That game's going to be a shootout. And we already have seen that Kyler likes him, and he's filling in good enough. So, like, if you need a dart throw, I would not start him over Ayuk, maybe even over any of these guys. But I would not be surprised if Antoine Wesley scores another touchdown this week in the Dallas game. Because you know that the best coverage is not going to him. It's going to Green. It's going to Kirk. I don't even know if Rondale Moore is going to play, or Ertz. They're going to do some sort of shadow on him. So Wesley's, I would not be surprised if he scores another touchdown this week. I mean, can we do back-to-back guesstimators the same as that guy since nobody picked him up last week? If so, we'll do a double BB banger with Antoine Wesley. He's a Week 17 guesstimator again.
I love it. I love that.
Because your people didn't pick him up. Because you probably don't need him. If you're playing the championship game, you don't need somebody like that. But if you need somebody like that, there's somebody like that.
I mean, the target share is there. I mean, he's kind of taken over what D-Hop was doing, and he's kind of looking for him in the red zone, too, the same way he would look for D-Hop. They have that same type of stature and stuff like that. So
he's playing the D-Hop role for a fraction of the price.
Rojo or Renfro, PPR?
We went Rojo before, so we're going to stay with Rojo.
All right. Ben with a question here. Devonta Smith, Stevenson, Mike Davis, or Guyton if Williams is out?
Sorry, I was looking at all the bottom of Kalen's things where he said who he's starting. Herbert, Keenan.
Mike Williams looks like he is going to play.
Yes.
Do you want me to bring that other one back up again?
No. We're good. I was just looking. There was no question there. Devonta Smith, Stevenson, Mike Davis, or Guyton.
Mike Williams is playing.
Yeah. Ramondre would be, but we'll see because he was also COVID-less, right?
Yeah, those running backs make me the most nervous, man, when it comes back from
going against the Jags.
COVID.
You got Harris, who's banged up off his hat trick last week. They could go 50-50, though, still. Devonta Smith in the Washington game. I feel like your safest option is Ramondre Stevenson. But if you're like PPR or half point even, I mean, maybe you go Devonta Smith.
I agree with you. Devonta Smith has been standing out for me looking at this question. The Stevenson makes me a little worried. You're right. Harris is a little bit banged up, but you said the game flow shows that the Patriots should run the ball. But we thought, I mean, obviously Stevenson was out. Bolden still got a lot of touches. So Bolden's still involved there. So you kind of going to have 3 running backs now compared to 2 running backs, which Devontae Smith's number 1 over there. Even though Hurts doesn't throw the ball as much, but
go with Smith.
All right, Kalen with one here. D. Williams over Mitchell or Jeff Wilson. Also got Penny in and Elliott.
Yeah, it should be Williams, right? But Gore has been playing great. Gore has been doing what I saw, and when he was the guesstimator and blew up in that one night game, and everybody finally realized what I had saw like about 8 weeks prior. And I wouldn't be surprised if they give Gore a little bit of an extra look in this one just to see what they kind of have in him. Because the CEH thing, he's done well when he's been in there, but there was grumblings early on that maybe there was a bad pick by them and he didn't really fit their scheme, whereas Gore kind of does. And Williams is Williams. Williams been doing his thing. But I don't think I'd play him over Mitchell. If Elijah Mitchell's playing, I'm playing Elijah Mitchell out of those guys because of the Gore thing. Because Williams has been Williams, but he's got a tough matchup, and Mitchell doesn't. Mitchell has an easy matchup.
All right, Josh with the question here. George Kittle or Gronk? Jimmy G doubtful/out.
Yeah, same sort of thing. I mean, they should be able to run all over Houston. We'll see. And sometimes Houston shows up out of nowhere and throws up 40 points, right? Their defense balls out. But on the road in San Francisco, I don't know. Brady needs some targets. Is Brady going to have to throw too much against the Jets? Probably enough to make Gronk the play. I'll go with Gronk. It's tough, though. I don't even know how you sit Kittle. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Gronk just seems like a surefire touchdown this week.
Just because of the Patriot relationship and them playing the Jets and stuff like that, I agree with Gronk, but I would see if I could flex George Kittle as well. Maybe that could be a good option for you, depending on what the rest of your team looks like. All right, Josh with another one here. Trust 49ers D versus Houston or go for one of these? Rams, Steelers, Eagles, Giants, Bears, or Chargers?
See a lot of people using the Bears.
The Bears.
I see a lot of people using the Bears this week at home against the Giants. Giants are in shambles. Not the Chargers. I got a feeling that Drew Lock has a good game this week. The Steelers Monday night playing for Big Ben against Baker, who's been playing terrible. You gotta imagine he's going to come up on an ebb or a flow, whichever one means going up. I still have no clue. Eagles.
That's a division game. I would probably. Yeah. I mean, I would stay away from the Eagles.
If the Eagles were at home, I might be inclined.
I'm all in for Steelers, man. I think you start every Steeler you have just because of Big Ben's last game at home. But that's just me. 49ers isn't a bad choice, though. I mean, going against Houston, game script should say that 49ers defense should take over. But Davis Mills played pretty good last week, man.
Yeah. And the problem is you got Trey Lance likely as the quarterback, and who's to say that he doesn't make a few mistakes here or there that Houston can capitalize on and give them short fields.
Short fields, yep.
Yeah, the Steelers is just like the Hail Mary. They haven't really been playing that good, but this game is just going to be so emotionally charged. You might want to just go for it. And it'll give you a chance on Monday night to overtake any points you might need. I mean, the Bears seem like the safest. The Niners seem like the smartest. But the Steelers seem like the play. It seems like it's going to be something special. I mean, I'm not and never have been a Steelers or a Big Ben guy. I like Big Ben. Was it Boise State or Miami? It was Miami, right? Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
Who's the Boise State guy? Case Keenum.
But
Miami of Ohio, like he was nuts. It was the same era. And I like Big Ben, but like the fans are going to be nuts. The team is going to be so pumped. Go with the Steelers. They're going to be pumped up, especially because it's against the Browns. Remember a couple years ago what happened with them, or if it wasn't even last year with the helmet.
The helmet, yeah, with Mason Rudolph.
So go with the Steelers. You got a chance there.
All right, Antonio with another question here. Patterson, Carter, Barkley need to.
Sometimes Barkley's been making some plays where it's like, oh my God, he's back. And then like he has like 4 or 5 in a row. Or it's like, no, he's not. He's in the back. I can't trust Carter. I just can't against the Patriots. I like them. They're going to use them. But for whatever reason. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant Brady.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. But the Bucks was what I meant because the rush. But he'll catch passes. The Patterson thing, I don't know why. I feel like has the mystique ended, or is he back for one more? I'm playing Barkley, and I don't like it. And I don't know. Carter?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would play Patterson is because Atlanta's probably going to be down, and he's your jack of all trades. He has that same Debo Samuel role where he's going to get touches, but all three of these guys are going to get touches. So I think you, I think Barkley and Carter, yeah, probably would be the choices because Carter's been catching a lot out of the backfield too.
Yeah.
All right, Cooks or Lamb need one PPR.
I'm gonna go with Lamb. I think it's gonna be a shootout.
All right.
They'll take Brandon Cooks out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, let everybody else beat you, right? Dave with a question here. I'm not allowed to answer this one because I'm playing against him in my championship game.
Hmm.
Is Justin Jefferson a safe play even with Cousins out?
Yeah, I think so. Unless you have a surefire option, otherwise, I don't see a way you can bench Justin Jefferson. I think he'll be fine. I think he's quarterback proof. I think he's one of those type of wide receivers.
I'll answer the question. Yeah, I agree with him. You have to start Justin Jefferson. He's your scary Terry. I mean, he's your D Hop. He's doesn't matter who the quarter. He's going to get the targets and he's going to catch the ball. Kalen, oh crap! What did I miss? Uh-oh.
It's all there. All you got to do is go back and watch it. As soon as we're done, it'll be on the page. You can go back. We answered all your questions. You can skip right to them because they're in lists, so you can see them. And whenever your question's being answered, it'll be highlighted and listed on the screen.
All right, Saints or Dallas D, MVS guy I play has Rogers. Other wide receiver I got are AU and Marcus Brown. You kind of went. Oh,
Yeah,
so
we answered
he doesn't
that.
have Rogers. He wasn't just saying that Rogers was on the team. He said that the other team has Rogers. Does that change something for you for MVS?
No, I don't think so because there's so many weapons. I think I still go Ayuk. I just think if Ayuk and MBS, one or both, could bust a long one. MBS would catch a long one. Ayuk could catch a short one and bust it long. I think you have a better shot at Ayuk and Ayuk to catch more balls than MBS because, coming back off the COVID list, Randall Cobb coming back, Lazard has been on fire, all the tight ends, both the running backs, the extra wide receivers. I'm going to go with Ayuk. And, I kind of like the Saints D. I know it's Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback. He had, half of the play last week, and that certainly makes Carolina better. But the Saints, they kind of got embarrassed a little bit last week, and they're at home, and their defense is better than that. And I feel like the Saints D, just because, as much as I love the Dallas D, and I have all year, I do feel like they're going to give up much more points than the Saints defense is going to. So I'm going to go with the Saints and sticking with Ayuk.
All right. He says Redskins as well. Happy 4th birthday. Have fun tomorrow. Nice, dude. Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Ben with another one here. Pick 2, Higgins, Mooney, Metcalf, or Ayuk.
Well, we talked about Higgins. Hey, I told people last week, remember I said you got to play DK. You got to play DK. You got to play DK. Do not be worried. He'll come through. He came through. I'm going with DK again. And, God, the whole Mooney situation just bothers me so much. I just don't know.
Definitely a great call by you this year. Mooney being the wide receiver 1 over Allen Robinson.
A-Rob's injury, if that even is real, towards the end, sort of had something to do with it. I kind of feel like he just kind of gave up, and they kind of gave up on him. But, yeah, I had the feeling that Mooney would overtake him as the number 1. So, yeah, thanks. I'm going to go with Metcalf and Mooney.
That's who's sticking out for me, too. They're number 1s over there. I mean, I know Higgins gets the ball throw to a lot, but he has 2 other guys to work with. And Ayuk, you need a big one because Debo and Eli Mitchell are healthy, and they're going to be getting the ball a lot, and they got George Kittle. So Mooney and Metcalf would be my choices as well. Also, Taysom Hill or Hurts?
I mean, I really like the Hill thing. I do feel like he'll come back and do exactly what he does, depending on league scoring. I mean, you're looking at 20 points bottom. Um, but I think I'm going to go Hurts.
Big matchup for Hurts, man. It means a lot for them.
I think I'm going to go Hurts.
But
Ben, I don't think you go wrong either way. I think that these two are going to be very close. I think Hill, obviously, on the ground and with one or two rushing scores. Sorry, Alvin Kamara owners. Keeps it pretty even, but Hurts will throw enough that I don't think you go wrong either way. I'm going to go with Hurts.
All right. I got Elliott, Penny, Williams playing. Got Mitchell on the bench. Switch out?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Darrell Williams.
Darrell Williams was the same question.
Yeah, you got to play Mitchell over Williams.
All right. Josh with the question here. If Mitchell is a go, play him over Rojo.
I think so. And I like Rojo more than anybody, I think. Maybe his mother.
Who would be your other back that you have going? Or is this... Because you usually could start two running backs. So if you have Mitchell and you want to play him over Rojo, who's the third guy? Why wouldn't you play Mitchell and Rojo? If you're here. Welcome, Keller from YouTube. DeAndre Swift, Sony Michel, Rashad Penny. I have to start two. What do y'all think?
I'm riding the high hand with Penny. Mentioned it early in the show. Welcome to the show, Keller. Glad you're joining us. First time, hopefully not the last time. This will be our last show of the season, though, Rob.
It will be.
So we'll be back for season 6 next year. We'll do a preseason show. We'll talk about it at the end. But back to you, Keller. I'm going to ride the high hand with Penny. And, Swift's situation, we talked about it earlier in the show. Not sure if you were with us. Craig Reynolds is still doing just fine. Jamal's there. They got a couple other guys. The Sony thing, Akers is going to be playing. And Jake Funk did come back and get a couple snaps last week. With no Darrell Henderson this week, I would imagine those two get a lot more burn this week, but I feel like just based on matchups, I think, Mitchell going against the Ravens, and they have statistically the best rush defense in the entire league. We talk about fantasy defense and the Bucs being the best, and Washington's still pretty good against the run. The Ravens are number one against the rush. But I feel like I'd still go Sony with Swift coming back. I think Swift could be the better place. Certainly got the easier matchup, but I think I'm going to go with Sony and Penny. I get nervous with Swift. He comes
There's
back
just too many backs over there, and you're right. Does he make it through the game?
He comes back from these injuries all the time, and he gets hurt too early. And this is not a week you want to deal with something like that. And you know what? If you take my advice and your gut says to do so, and he makes it through the game and he outscores either one of those two, then I feel like that's something you just live with. Because right now I want to play the guys who have been playing very well, and that's Sony and Penny. And Swift, I love DeAndre Swift. When he was drafted 2 years ago, coming in as a rookie, I was talking him up on the show, season 4. And he had a great 6 to 8 games, and he got hurt, and it seemed like every game he would come back, he'd be out. And the same sort of thing this year. You can't trust it. Not this week. You play the guys that got you there, the guys that have been killing it, Sony and Rashad.
All right. Ben with another one here. Rams or Patriots, D?
You got to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think you got to go Patriots, man. Going to
Jacksonville. All he does is he goes backwards.
He does. Even last game, dude, against the Jets, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
He's so terrible. He's so terrible. I tried telling people.
Mark, welcome, bud. YouTuber, Brady or Kyler?
That's a great question. Brady seems like the smart play. I have a feeling If you're just joining us, Mark, welcome. From YouTube, thank you for checking us out. I've been saying it. I got a feeling about Kyler. This game's going to be a shootout. He hasn't been using his legs. If there's any sense, and you know what? Before I even go this far, Rob, and everybody else out there that's been with us all season, and every season for that regard, there's typically a theme, and the theme of this season is coaches are morons. Like, what are you doing? So what the coaches should be saying to Kyler is, easing any apprehension that he has, because it's obvious that he has some sort of apprehension about running. Ever since he came back from that multi-week injury, he's been apprehensive about running the ball. He doesn't want to. He's going down quick, or he's throwing out of bounds, or one thing or another. He's not doing what he was doing when they were winning. But they need to be speaking to him and building up his confidence. Say, listen, we were winning with you running the ball. We need you to run the ball. We need you to take off and use those legs. If they want to beat Dallas in this game, they're going to need him to do that. So I'm going to say that for this one instance, my hopes and prayers are that coaches stop being idiots, which they've been all season, going for it on 4th and 1 on the 13 when you're down 3 points. Tie the damn game.
Tie it.
And they have to have Kyler do what he does best. And I feel like Kyler's legs in this one will be the difference between him and Brady, and between him and a lot of quarterbacks this week. Listen, Brady's going to rely on the run. Evans will be back, but they might be down Brown. He'll get a couple touchdowns through the air, but they'll be able to run. They'll be able to play defense against the Jets. So I'm going to go with Kyler in this one, in a game that I think will be back and forth, ping pong, shootout style.
I'm surprised that's not the Sunday night game. I know the Packers-Vikings game is a good game and stuff like that. Minnesota's really not going for too much. Packers are already in. I was surprised they didn't switch this or flex this one out. All right, Marcos with a question here. Half-point PPR, Higgins, St. Brown, AB, Keenan, Rojo, Sony. 2 wide receivers, 1 flex.
I think I got to go. It's tough, but they're at home. So I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. And, it would be AB, but he's just so questionable, and I don't even know if he's going to play. And I just feel like Higgins seems like the obvious one, but I'm going to go with Amon-Ra.
He's been killing it, man.
Yeah, another week, even with the backup, whether it's golf or not. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. And I'm going with Rojo as my flex.
We hang out too much, man. Those are the same exact people I was looking at. That's what my gut said when I saw this question. All right, for defense, Saints, Dolphins, Packers, or Bears? Thank you. You're quite welcome, sir.
I'm going to stick with it, the Saints. I feel like the Dolphins have been great on defense. Their sacks have been incredible. But I do feel like they're going to give up. I know Tennessee, but we saw what A.J. Brown can do. They'll give up a little bit. Running game's been okay for Tennessee. I feel like even with Sean Mannion as the quarterback, the Vikings have enough weapons. And I know that the Bears seem like the smartest choice. I see a lot of people using them. And the Giants are in a whirlwind of sorrow. But I'm going to go with the Saints after being embarrassed for the most part last week. They got their quarterback back. They're at home. They're going against Sam Darnold. I'm going to go with Saints.
I like that pick. Dallas or Miami, D?
That's a good one. Because Dallas opportunistic. The same thing, Leon, that I said to somebody earlier. Depending on how your defense scoring is. Like, is it all about points you've given up? Or do you get points for 4th down stops? Do you get points for 3 and outs? Do you get points, how many for interceptions, for fumble recoveries, for sacks? If this type of stuff, for yards allowed, if that type of stuff adds up, Dallas might be the call here. Because I do feel like they're going to give up a lot of points, but they might be able to make a few things happen still. I'll go with Miami.
All right. Josh, from before, I have Patterson on bench, and Chubb and Aaron Jones are his starters. That was relating to if Mitchell goes, play him over Rojo.
Yeah, I think Chubb still against the Steelers, who I think are going to be super emotionally charged. He's all they really got going for him right now because Baker, just something's way off with him. Watch, Baker will just be
explode.
You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Yeah, you're good. You're good with Patterson on the bench starting those two. And you go with Mitchell as your third if that's what you needed.
All right. Hendrick, what's up, bud? I hate Swift right now, but options are limited. Other option would be Agumbawale, but don't know if I trust him more than Swift.
No, you gotta go with Swift. You gotta go with Swift over Dare Agumbawale.
All right, Kaylin. All right, here's the team to beat tomorrow. Good luck, boys. To whom is in the finals? QB, Justin Herbert. Wide receiver, Keenan Allen, Pittman. Running backs, Penny, Mitchell, Kelsey. Ayuk as his wide receiver. Elliott as another flex option. Zerline and Saints. That seems like a good team to me there, bud. I don't think I would change that. Yeah. Dynasty, what's up, man? Do off-season streams as well? We haven't, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we haven't. And I don't know. Like we did one. I feel like we did one during the draft.
Yep.
I don't know if that was last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. But I mean, Rob gets really busy during playoff time, right through the end of tax season. He's really busy, and so that sort of takes us to what, like almost May,
pretty much.
And at that point, we're pretty much almost at draft season. And we do a preseason show typically in the beginning of June-ish anyways, right? And or the end of June at the latest. So we never really do. Would not be a bad idea. A lot of people have asked about that and wanted us to do so. Nothing is ever out of the question, but I see you're joining us from YouTube, and not sure if you're even on Facebook, but we do have a Facebook group, and that's pretty much where all of our nonsense gets posted out so that people know if and when we are going live. So if you're on Facebook, look up Answers by Guess, join the group. We have a page as well. Join the group. The link is on the page. And then you can stay up to date because who knows? There could be an impromptu. I remember a couple times last year, at least a couple years ago, we were hanging out for whatever reason, maybe in Atlantic City or something. We post a picture. People responded to that. So people are paying attention. So there might be a time here or there where we do a show. But once free agency gets rolling, we're pretty much right in with that. What's up, Rigo?
Nick says, "What's up?"
What up, Nick?
He said, "What's up?" He's grabbing a beer. From my perspective, I really think that we'll be using the group. I want to post updates and things. Maybe if there's trades that happen, that'll be something that I know I'm kind of pushing. Getting the group more involved would be. We love obviously everybody that's there, but kind of growing it as well. Seeing sometimes when you share things from other groups or things that you see, I see that people tend to like those a lot more. So I think that it honestly would help get the viewership and the followers that we're looking for. YouTube's going to be, I think, big this year for us as well. I've been trying to teach myself. My kids want to be streamers. So I'm going to try to see how we can build up Answers by Guess on the YouTube side as well. So,
yeah, and I was actually going to bring that up, that I know Rob is ready to put in work to really get YouTube up and rolling much more than it has been. It seems to be our second highest at this point. Fan base, I guess if you want to call it that. I don't know if we really have fans. We have more of a family here. But yeah, if you're looking to do collaborations or something during the off season, I mean, reach out to us. The best place to reach out to us, the best place that they're most easily accessible, is Facebook. You send us a PM, and because I don't know how we would really do that through YouTube. But yeah, and who knows? Possibly.
Hey, I just posted as well. That's our email address. If you want, just reach out to us, and it's worth the conversation, bud.
Without a doubt.
So, yeah, I mean, we got Sandy laughing because she probably saw Rigo in the background and she's downstairs. So I'm going to start going back to my family soon unless there's any other questions that I'm seeing here.
No, good luck tomorrow. I wish I could say the same for myself. My lover, James Robinson, let me down. But what can you do about a torn Achilles in the first drive of the game when you lose by 2 points in 2 leagues?
Told you, man. That was the downfall. Me was Tyler Johnson. I had MJJ, Marvin Jones Jr. I put him in. I'm like, Matthew Berry. As soon as I put him in, I started listening to the ESPN, and they're like,
that's
you gotta play Tyler Johnson. How would you not get Tyler Johnson? I'm just looking like, I didn't go with my gut, bro.
Rob, you were listening to Answers by Guest before anybody else was listening to Answers by Guest. You were in season -1.
-1.
Before we even started doing this, you were listening to guests, and that's where you went wrong.
Listen to guests.
That's where you went wrong.
You told me to go Barrios. Remember, he was my week 16 guesstimator or Rob-mator, whatever it is, and I didn't go with my gut, but it was everything in my being said, "Don't you dare trust Tom Brady." And everywhere I looked, everyone was saying, start Tyler Johnson. Start Tyler Johnson. How are you not going to start Tyler Johnson? And I started Tyler Johnson. No bueno. No bueno.
We'll be back next year, season 6. I hope you're all here at Kalen. Thank you for being with us from the jump as well. I do remember you here very early on.
Kalen was one of the first ones, man. I agree with you, but thanks for staying around, dude.
That's right.
I love the picture, by the way. Dragon Ball Z is the best, man.
So we'll be back, season 6. Stay up to date. We'll stay up to date with you. Best of luck. We'll put up a post for you to share your trophies and your scores. Leon, thank you for being a part of the family and Answers by Guests. Happy New Year, everyone. Be good. Good luck. We love you. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Answers by Guests. Peace out. Good luck.